What up, Clay Triots? It's your boy, Technically Clay, streaming at you from sunny and kind of hot St. Louis, Missouri. It's hotter today than it has been recently, but I think it's about to cool down a little bit over the next week. So, we can maybe open up the windows again and get that cool air flowing, if you know what I mean. Since the last time you saw me, let's see, watched. It's a lot of the same, man. If you go back and watch all my other ones, you can probably guess. I watched Stargate and I played Slay the Spire. I think that was basically it for last night. I went to sleep. I slept good. I woke up. I went to work. Work has been pretty busy lately. And then I did work out. I've started my new strats. I'm trying something new. I'm doing upper lower splits. I'm doing Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday with an optional Wednesday for the the not as important muscles, or like the not as important to work out isolated, like for instance biceps and triceps or whatever. Like if I feel like it, I'll do it on Wednesday. If not, then it's no big deal. So that's kind of the game plan right now. Today was leg day. I think it went pretty well, considering I skipped a whole week last week. So yeah, and then finished off work, heated up froze some meatloaf. I froze it in slices, so I just wrapped it in tinfoil, heated it up, and then I made some mashed potatoes and some green beans as sides. So, it was pretty good. Pretty good, pretty easy, and most importantly, pretty cheap. Because I'm trying to save that money right now. Okay, yeah, so I guess that is all for personal news. Today I will be drinking a Fitz's Grape Pop. Ooh, fancy. Grapes, by the way, if anyone's curious, are my favorite fruit. They're not necessarily my favorite soda, but I do like the Fitz's fruit flavored sodas. I think they're pretty good. But yeah, grapes are my favorite fruit. I love them. You can just keep popping them. They're one of those snacks that they're like already prepackaged into perfect bite size morsels. So that's why I like them. But okay, let's see. And why am I talking about grapes right now? What, you guys don't care about grapes. So here, let's move on to more important news than
Meanwhile, there are reports.
than Clay's favorite fruit, okay? Because I think that this might be a little bit more important than my favorite fruit. So, okay, for those uninitiated, yesterday we had the implementation of the blockade on top of the blockade. So essentially America creating a secondary blockade in the Gulf of Oman on top of Iran's Iran didn't really have a blockade, right? They had like a tolling system where people would come and pay them money to get through, assuming that you weren't actively involved in the war against Iran, right? So, since the ceasefire negotiations broke down, America has now implemented a secondary blockade that is basically supposed to be stopping, I guess, anybody who actually goes along with the tolling process, is my understanding. Like anyone who actually paid Iran to get through. And I don't really, honestly, I don't really know. I think they're saying nobody's allowed through at all. It's very, very confusing, very hard to understand, and will certainly have a impact, I think, on the oil markets in terms of like prices at the pump getting higher. But so that's a little bit of background, but we're going to start with this video from France 24. This video is 2 ships from Iran ports pass Hormuz Strait despite U.S. blockade. So guys, the blockade, someone might have already broken through the blockade. I heard it was a Chinese flagged vessel, but let's go ahead and see what they have to say over at France 24.
Meanwhile, there are reports that Iran and the U.S. might meet for talks again for negotiations following their failure to reach a deal in Islamabad on Saturday. Well, we're going to talk more about this now with France 24's Angela Diffley, who joins me on set. Angela, let's start first with the Strait of Hormuz. How is this blockade working at the moment? And there have been reports of Chinese ships going through the strait. Tell us more.
Yeah, various organizations are trying to track this, but it is very difficult because some vessels turn off their transponders, which allow them to be tracked. Some sail under false flags. The United States has more sophisticated
Not a
equipment.
false flag.
So what we know from what these organizations are reporting is that 4 vessels have transited the Strait of Hormuz, that 2 vessels have visited Iranian ports, and that 2 vessels have Chinese links. But we don't know if it is the 2 Chinese-linked vessels that have visited the Iranian ports. Either way, this is going to...
I'm curious what the flags are of the other 2 vessels that were not, like the 2 vessels that didn't go to the Iranian port. Because if they are not going through the Iranian toll system, essentially that would just be them taking advantage of this momentary ceasefire. And like assuming that Iran isn't going to like blow up their vessels while they're in the middle of this, quote unquote ceasefire. So I would be curious who those vessels were, but
going to be watched really, really closely, because for this to work successfully, the idea was nobody goes into an Iranian port, nobody exits an Iranian port, and it could severely undermine the entire blockade. That said, it is possible that there is some kind of arrangement, some kind of understanding between Trump and China. They will certainly want to avoid any kind of standoff. We talked yesterday about the very concerning idea that U.S. ships might try to seize a Chinese.
Well, and I guessed yesterday that if China's going to be, China will probably continue shipping oil through the Strait of Hormuz. But I also said that like if they're going to do it, they're probably going to have back channel negotiations with Trump to like make sure that that America understands that they're going to do this, and if they do anything, like it's not going to look good for the negotiations in the future or whatever, So I would guess that China is probably making some threats potentially behind the scenes to America as well, in terms of like their like export controls and all that sort of stuff, rare earths, like, because China did, I think, sort of force Iran into this temporary ceasefire, which in my opinion puts Iran at a not quite as good position in terms of bargaining. Like the ideal situation for Iran is that they negotiate, number one, on the battlefield, which they've already kind of won the fight on the battlefield, but they negotiate during wartime, essentially, like as stuff is ongoing, not under some temporary ceasefire. Because that's when they have the most leverage. And so I think China kind of pushed them into this temporary ceasefire, because China, more than the amount of clout that they are getting off of America's descent into like, chaotic fascism and like energy, like disrupting the energy market of the global economy, like just to, save the Nazi state of Israel, like, like they are enjoying a lot of like, getting a lot of that power and projection and like all of the benefits of America shooting itself in the foot. But they also at the same time, I think, care most of all about stability, because that all of their plans, like what, their goals, they're very inwardly focused. I would say China doesn't have very much ambitions for like for external force projection, or like if they do, it's really just as a deterrent for America. I think China is generally very inwardly focused, and to meet their goals and their demands and their plans, and I think they probably think that to get into a better position strategically in the future, they don't want the global energy market to be like fucked for like, years or decades. Like they really want to keep the status quo to some extent because they were already benefiting from the status quo. But they were like, it's like a win-lose situation. Like you win some, you lose some when America starts, shooting itself in the foot and behaving like a toddler with a $1.5 trillion army all around the world.
Chinese ship, that seems to be an unthinkable scenario that everyone would want to avoid to nuclear powers there. It might be that there is some sort of understanding that the Chinese will try to persuade Iran to end the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, perhaps in return for access to Iranian ports. And China is the biggest buyer of Iranian oil, so they really do have leverage there. It also matters significantly to the Chinese.
That would not be the China. So I don't buy that. I don't think that's what China's going to do. It would not be like the only way that America stops is if it gets a really big bloody nose on this one. Like if it if it feels like the entire world can recognize it as a complete and total failure, that's the only way America stops this. Like America isn't going to just stop. And I mean, I'm talking America and Israel, right? They're not going to just stop with Iran after they destabilize Iran. If they win in Iran, then I'm sure Turkey is next, and then I'm sure after that, I don't know, Sudan or wherever, right? Like, or Pakistan, like they're not going to stop until somebody forces them to stop. So it would be a bad idea strategically to allow America to get any sort of perceivable victory in this situation if you want global stability and peace. You need like America needs to be brought down like 10 pegs if we want to see any sort of like peace, like global peace for the next like 10 years. Like it's not going to be possible unless America and Israel are forced into accepting their defeat. Like that's all there is to it. So it would not be in their interest to try to pressure Iran to give up some of the leverage that it won on the battlefield. Like if they go back to war, Iran like completely controls the strait again. Like, yeah, you can set up your little blockade back there, but then if they go back to war, then Iran is shooting missiles at you again. And so you might have to move your blockade a little bit further out. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just think that's bad analysis from this lady.
It is not their only source
lady.
of oil. They also buy Russian oil. They have a fairly diverse sourcing of oil, but they will not want their own economy hit either. There could be signs that perhaps Iran is keen to avoid a choke on its economy. Until now, China had really tried to stay outside this conflict. It is useful for China just to see how it plays out. It has been distracting the United States. The United States has moved military resources from, for example, South Korea, a domain of interest for China, for use in the Middle East. So there had been some upsides for China to stand on the sidelines. And some of the Gulf states who also have good relationships with China were very disappointed when China, with Russia, vetoed a Bahrain proposal for a United Nations-backed military mission to unblock the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, that's all you need to know right there is like whose side China is going to be on in terms of like in terms of using their leverage. They're not going to use their leverage, I think, against Iran. They're going to use it like to some extent. Like they used it to get Iran into the ceasefire proposals, but I don't think that they're going to use it once they're in or ceasefire discussions. I mean, once they're discussing, though, I think that it would like I don't think that they're going to try to make Iran capitulate, at least not on too much, maybe like a little bit, but yeah.
Hormuz, they were pretty disappointed by that. Worth mentioning on this Hormuz issue, this Franco-British initiative, there will be a conference in Paris on Friday to look at ways of doing that once the war is over.
In the meantime, what's behind these reports of further talks, perhaps, between the U.S. and Iran?
Yeah, the New York Times is reporting and citing sources that at the talks on Saturday, that Iran proposed to suspend its nuclear program for 5 years, that the United States rejected that idea, said that wasn't enough, maintained the idea of at least 20 years.
I think the JCPOA was 10 years, right? If I remember correctly.
There are also questions about, how inspectors would access nuclear sites, whether nuclear facilities would be destroyed, what would happen to the highly enriched uranium.
To be clear, though, the nuclear stuff is the thing that they're going to actually negotiate on, or like the thing that, like, Iran doesn't care that much, I think, about their like nuclear. They just want like a program as like a latent deterrent for like that, like an option that they could sprint to a bomb. But I always say, like, it's not that important to have like to be enriching the uranium yourself. Like, I'm pretty sure if you needed to, like, Pakistan or China could just send you a nuke, and then Iran would be a nuclear armed nation, like, so like, but I also think that like they now more than ever would probably want more like nuclear, like would probably want a nuclear bomb. And it kind of just depends, I guess, more what the person in charge says. I don't know if it's Khomeini's son. I don't know if it's an IRGC official puppeting Khomeini's son like a Muppet or something. I really have no idea. But yeah, I think that if they're going to negotiate on anything or capitulate on anything to give America the appearance of a victory, it would probably be on their nuclear stockpiles, like going from 60% enrichment back down to 20% like they had under the JCPOA or something. But I think that America is still being very hardline about, like, they want zero, like not even for medical purposes or anything, which are civil purposes. Like, that's not going to fly. I don't think they're going to get that.
Uranium that we know about. So those areas still red line areas, and they did not make significant progress, but there was some movement on it, it seems. That is news to everybody. It is being said now that there is likely to be further talks between Iran and the US. Donald Trump is saying Iran is calling for talks. That's worth what it is, coming from Donald Trump. But perhaps Iran is fearful of a chokehold on its economy. There is as well, we are hearing...
It's not that big of a chokehold, man. It's like 20% of Iran's economy. I mean, it is big, but they're under wartime. Like, you're going to take a hit regardless if you're in a wartime economy. But they have also land routes that they can export stuff through or whatever. Like, yes, it's a lot easier for oil in particular. You kind of got to go by the ocean. So that's what I'm saying is like that 20%, but all of their other exports and stuff can probably just be trucked over land routes and stuff. So it's not like it's going to be like, even if they do actually enforce this blockade, which it seems like they're not as of now, it's not going to be that big of a deal to Iran, if I had to guess. But okay, let's go and move on. Still same thing, but different.
Well, we begin in Washington, where
we're doing France 24 again, back to back. I love France 48. That France 24 times 2. So we're going to check in on these negotiations between Israel and the Lebanese army. I'm going to have to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that nothing's going to happen here. Israel, and the entire Western alliance has been asking for Lebanon to disarm Hezbollah and essentially enter a civil war with Hezbollah for the past 10 years. The problem is that the Lebanese army is not even capable of doing that. So, and also Israel is literally in the process of trying to colonize the Lebanon's land in the south. So, anyway, we got Rubo, Lil Marco. He is out there. We saw how good JD Vance did in his negotiations between Iran and America. The dude that everything he touches dies. I think he killed the Pope or whatever once he met with the Pope. So yeah, I mean, maybe Rubio will have a little bit of luck. Maybe Rubio has not fully attained the curse status that gets applied to you whenever you hang out with the Trump administration demons for too long, or whatever happens where it makes everything you touch turn to shit. I don't know what's going on, but my theory is that there's like a curse status that that gets applied to you if you hang out with them too much. But we'll see how Rubio's doing with these negotiations.
Well, we begin in Washington, where Lebanese and Israeli representatives have now arrived for their first direct talks in decades. The US then expecting to press for a halt to the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah amid fears that it could derail this fragile two-week ceasefire with Iran. Hezbollah launched missiles into Israel when Iran's Supreme...
You know, it would be good if you wanted to reach some sort of deal on that, is if you had someone from Hezbollah come to the fucking table, because the Lebanese army isn't going to do shit about that. So if you want that to happen, you'll have to get Hezbollah like at the negotiating table. And as far as I know, Hezbollah was not involved in these negotiations. Like, no representative of Hezbollah was involved in this whatsoever. So that's problem number one that I'm seeing with this negotiation.
Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed in a US...
It's like it is kind of ridiculous though, right? Like, I want to emphasize this. Israel is at war with Hezbollah, not the Lebanese army. The Lebanese army is on Israel's side. They're like the Palestinian Authority for Lebanon, right? The Lebanese army is on the Israelis' side. And so you essentially have Israel coming up here and then negotiating with itself, with the Lebanese army, while Hezbollah is just like not even invited to the fucking talks. The people that both of these are actually at war with, Hezbollah, is not even invited. It's like, what, this is such a sham. Like, this is a joke.
Israeli bombardment of Tehran. Israel has since launched strikes and a ground invasion into Lebanon. More than 2,000 people have been killed and over 1 million others displaced. Let's talk more about the significance of today's talks, which will shortly be underway. Kedevan Gorjestani joins us in the studio, our international affairs editor. Kedevan, first direct high-level talks between Israel and Lebanon. What should we expect?
Well, look, there was this joint declaration just moments ago from 17 foreign ministers, mostly European foreign ministers, including France, but also the UK and Australia. And they had this sentence: "We call on both parties to seize this opportunity for a lasting peace." But that, of course, is much easier said than done.
Yeah, you're not going to get lasting peace with Israel. You're not. I'm sorry. They're a colonial state that is trying to take as much territory as they possibly can. You're never going to have peace with Israel. The only thing you can do is defend your borders. That's all you can do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be the ones to break this to you.
U.S. is, of course, sort of brokering these high-level talks that we haven't seen, direct talks in decades, with two main goals, according to a U.S. official. One is the long-term security of Israel's northern border, and the second one being Lebanon's determination to reclaim full sovereignty over its territory. And the reason the United States is so focused on
How is that possible when Israel is trying to take your territory from you? How are they going? The only way to enforce that is to start killing all of the IOF members that come across your territory. And the Lebanese army isn't doing shit about that. Only Hezbollah is doing that. Hezbollah is doing their goddamn job as a sovereign nation. Like, their job as a sovereign nation is to defend their fucking borders. And they're not doing, the Lebanese army isn't doing shit. It's only Hezbollah. They should be thanking Hezbollah for that.
Trying to get these two sides to agree to a ceasefire, a peace deal, is because there is this other negotiation, other ceasefire between the United States and Iran, and the situation in Lebanon is a complicating factor in those U.S.-Iran negotiations. So that's why the Americans have a stake in these talks. The problem is that the Lebanese and the Israelis are very far apart. When you look at what the president of Lebanon said about these talks, he said that they wanted a truce between Lebanon and Israel in order to be able to start real negotiations between these two countries that have been at war technically for a long time. The Israelis, they're saying peace and normalization between these two countries, but they don't want a ceasefire with Lebanon until the issue of Hezbollah is dealt with the Israeli foreign minister saying that it is Hezbollah that is the problem. Those are
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. If Hezbollah was gone, Israel would have already taken all of Lebanon. Lebanon would no longer exist. They would have stolen the entire country of Lebanon, and it would now be Israel 2.0. Like and all of the people of Lebanon would have been either killed, committed genocide, or would have been like thrown into like reservations or like concentration camps or something. If Hezbollah did not exist, Lebanon would not exist. So that's just like I'm sorry that I have to break this to people. I don't understand why people don't understand this. Like, the only thing that will stop Israel is force, and the Lebanese army. Like, if you want to see what happens to you if you get rid of Hezbollah, look at what is happening in the West Bank with the Palestinian Authority. The Lebanese army is essentially just the Palestinian Authority of Lebanon. Okay, so that's what would be happening to the people of Lebanon if they got rid of Hezbollah. Just so
the
people are aware.
positions at which these two countries and their representatives that are in Washington today are starting off on in these probably sort of first opening talks to possible future talks.
We spoke about Hezbollah there. They are a party to the conflict, but not involved in these talks, as we can see. How does that work?
Well, the group and its leader, Naim Hassem, said that they would not be bound by, even if there was an agreement between Israel and Lebanon, they would not see it as a binding. They would not abide by it. And he called.
Yeah, well, you're not negotiating with them. If you negotiated something with Hezbollah, then it would be binding. If Hezbollah agrees to it, then it would be binding. Obviously, if you negotiate with the Lebanese army, which is just like, the like Israel-backed, Western-backed forces to try and disarm Hezbollah, then yeah, obviously that doesn't apply to Hezbollah. Like, what?
The talks futile and said that they shouldn't even happen in the first place. The problem is Hezbollah is really at the crux of what is happening. You mentioned it. Lebanon was actually sucked in to this regional conflict when Hezbollah started attacking Israel on March 2nd, just a few days after the killing of the
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Israel was going to attack Lebanon whether Hezbollah did that or not. Israel has no qualm in just making up shit to then go invade you. Like, they don't need an excuse. Like, if they weren't already going to do this, a single rocket attack is not what made them do it. They were going to do this. They were planning on doing this, and they probably just thought, hey, we don't even have to make up a lie this time. We don't even have to make up a lie as to why we need to invade Lebanon and start trying to steal all their territory. Hezbollah just launched a rocket. We can just do it now. It's like, yeah, so that's a nothing burger. Like, they were going to do this regardless.
Ayatollah Khamenei and showing its support for Iran. And then you had the Israelis responding with attacks, including those massive attacks that we talked about on April 8th in Beirut. And what you're seeing is that Hezbollah is the issue that is causing this problem. And the fact is that Lebanon has tried to deal with Hezbollah, but has failed so far. It's not the first time that you're seeing efforts by the Lebanese authorities to disarm Hezbollah, to sort of dismantle Hezbollah. The problem is you need a lot of support to do.
It's never going to happen, dude. As long as there's a reason for Hezbollah to exist, aka Israel, then Hezbollah's not going anywhere. And Hezbollah is not going to get disarmed. The Lebanese army is not ever going to be capable of disarming it. Israel is not going to be capable of defeating it in the same way that it wasn't capable of defeating Hamas. Like, I don't know. I think people like misunderstand resistance groups entirely, and I think intentionally. I think these reporters are intentionally misunderstanding the dynamics here or whatever. But Hezbollah will continue to exist as long as Israel continues to be like an occupying, like colonizing group that is constantly trying to steal their territory. Like, if Israel decided to become a normal ass country with defined borders that wasn't constantly trying to expand its borders in all direction, like it's the fucking Third Reich in Nazi Germany, then maybe Hezbollah would no longer need to exist. and would then kind of just fizzle away and die. That's the only way resistance organizations will ever go away, is if the cause for their resistance is no longer there. So there you go. That's my analysis on that. This is a stupid thing. It's not going to lead anywhere. There's not going to be any breakthrough or whatever. The Lebanese army, I don't think, is going to try to start a civil war against Hezbollah while Hezbollah is doing their goddamn job, lighting all the Merkava tanks on fire that are coming across their border. So, like, if they did that, then they would lose the entire south of their country forever. Okay. if Hezbollah, if they start trying to commit like or do a civil war against Hezbollah right now, they will lose the south of their country forever to Israel. Okay. And so I don't think that they will go through with that. Hezbollah is the one thing that is going to eventually push Israel out of that territory. So here we go. Let's go to this one. Guys, I got news for you. We hit France 24, we hit France 48. Now we're at France, what would that be? 72? France 72. 72 doses of France 24. This is crazy. This has never happened before. Someday I'm gonna have to see what record I can break of most France 24 videos back to back. But right now we're at 72 is the most 24s. Anyway, so we're gonna watch this video. This is kind of funny to me because I just watched this, the Iran AI Lego video or whatever the other day, the most recent one. I was watching Tim Dillon watch it, I guess. But apparently, I don't know, apparently that's banned now. YouTube bans viral pro-Iran AI generated Lego videos trolling Trump. Now, I'm curious why YouTube is suddenly, delving into the realm of censorship when it comes to, you know, harmless little propaganda videos. So let's go ahead and see what France 24 has to say about this.
Truth or Fake gives us Vedika Bahel over by the big board. Good evening to you, Vedika. Previously covering the ongoing meme war between the US and Iran, and now Tehran has been trolling Donald.
Sorry, it's so funny though. Like, propaganda used to be like written pamphlets and stuff that were disseminated to the masses, or they were like, you know, in the newspapers and people had to go get them. I wonder what what the propagandists that existed in World War I and World War II, like what they would think if they saw what the fuck propaganda is, like the Lego AI Lego AI I don't know, like propaganda. I feel like it would melt their brains. Like their brains would be leaking from their ears if they had to see what propaganda is in the 21st century.
Donald Trump via Lego-style AI videos. Recently, YouTube banning these videos, which prompted a reaction from Iran. Tell us more.
Well, Mark, as we've previously covered here on Truth or Fake, the war in Iran just isn't just on the battlefield. It's also online via AI slopaganda. And Iran certainly has been playing Donald Trump at his own game by releasing a wave of AI-generated videos about the conflict in Iran, which ridicule the US war effort and mock the US president. Now, many of them even depict Donald Trump as having started this war to distract from his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And particularly viral are these Lego-style animations created by a pro-Iran group named Explosive Media. They've animated essentially every moment of this conflict, and they've racked up hundreds of millions of views online. For example, one recent video was captioned, Trump surrendered, Iran won, Taco will always remain Taco. Taco referring to Trump always chickens out. And indeed, the video, which was reshared particularly, showed the war continuing until 2027. It showed the Middle East in disarray from bombing, rising costs in the US, prompting people to struggle with the cost of living, and Trump having an ongoing nightmare about all of this taking place. And it essentially implies that Trump signed the 2-week ceasefire with Iran due to this ongoing nightmare and prompting him into making that decision. Because
I didn't watch that one, so that I didn't know that there was that whole plot line with it.
Now, a few days after this video hit the internet, Google, the owners of YouTube, banned Explosive Media's official YouTube account. And they told Middle East Eye that they did this because they said the account violated its spam, deceptive practices, and scams policies. Now, this
seems pretty sus, right? I mean, we'll see what they say, but I'm dubious if they actually violated their spam or scam policies, but maybe they did. Who knows? We'll see what France 24 has to say.
Has prompted outrage from the Iranian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who said online via its spokesperson, in a land that proudly hosts Pixar, DreamWorks and Disney, an independent animated YouTube channel which has organically grown by depicting US aggression and warmongering, was abruptly shut down. They say that this was done simply to suppress the truth about the US illegal war in Iran and shield the American administration's false narrative from any.
To be fair, though, they will, like, this group will just like post it wherever. It's gonna make it to the Twitterverse somehow. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's posted on YouTube or if it's even just like, I don't know, just like thrown up on X or where, or any video hosting site. It'll make its way around the internet regardless. So it's not that huge of a deal, but
competing voice. Now, the creators of these
like, I guess what I'm saying is, people, don't worry, you'll still get your AI Lego around propaganda. Okay, you can get more bangers like that song from the last one. That one's still stuck in my head, dude. I find myself singing that one, like singing the chorus to that one in my free time now.
Lego style videos. Explosive Media have also reacted. They say, seriously, are our Lego style animations actually violent? Now, as of now, the Lego videos remain published on Meta platforms like Facebook and Instagram, as well as TikTok.
Violent content? If that's true, that's ridiculous. If that's violent content, then I think the Lego movie would qualify as violent content, right? Like, or like clips from that, you know, like.
And X, but as we can see, the YouTube is certainly out of order.
Well, they're certainly extremely creative. What do we know about this Explosive Media group, the people behind the Lego video?
So I guess my guess is that YouTube probably got the boss call from somebody saying that this shit is going way too hard. Like this, like your algorithm like is pumping this shit into people's veins, and the American people are loving it. They are loving it way too much, and we can't have that. We can't have the American people just openly supporting Iran propaganda. And I got news for you, though. If you've lost Tim Dillon, like, then you've lost America. Like, if Tim Dillon is rocking out to the Epstein song or whatever, like, yeah, I think you're done. Like, it's over. You've lost, and whether you try to stamp down this YouTube channel or not, these Lego propaganda videos are going to find their way onto the interweb. But I do think that we've been seeing, I guess, to make this a little bit more broader and maybe a little bit more important, instead of just like, you know, haha, funny AI propaganda video. We have been seeing a change in, I think, how aggressive American, like, the political class, the Epstein class, the you know, the people in the Department of War, like Hegseth and all that, we have been seeing a lot more pressure from the American government to start censoring like the other side, essentially, right? Like in a conflict. We read an article, or no, we watched a video of, I think, from Al Jazeera with Jeremy Scahill from Dropsite. And he was talking about how, like, never before, he's like a reporter. He said never before has it been so criminalized to like talk to the other side and try to get the other side's perspective. And he was talking particularly about like interviewing Iranian sources for info related to their negotiations or whatever, or interviewing members of Hamas or Al-Qassam brigades or wherever, right? Like, these are things that you want that the public needs to know. They need to see the other side of a conflict. And we are, I think, starting to get to that point in like fascism, where like the censorship boot is probably going to start coming down a lot harder, especially as America gets like is less successful in its military ventures, which is going to be like inevitably like every military venture that America does, the next one's going to be worse. Like because we're a declining superpower. So like this one like might look bad now, but it's going to keep like getting worse and worse as time goes on, in terms of what we're able to accomplish. And I think as that happens and America is more embarrassed more often, they're going to try to really censor this stuff. But the problem is that we live in the era of the internet now, so it's a lot harder to have like a global censor that like actually censors everything, unless you go with a full walled garden like internet approach like China does, which maybe that's the direction we're going to go. I don't really know. But yeah, I'll go ahead and finish off this video though. I think I forgot what they were going to talk about before I got into that rant. So
explosive media group.
Explosive media. They're going to talk about the source of the propaganda.
People behind the Lego videos.
Well, that is a good question. Well, we don't know their identities or which AI they use or where they are based, but a representative for Explosive Media, who asked to be referred to as Mr. Explosive, well, he recently gave an interview to the BBC. Now, he said that the team at Explosive Media consists of less than 10 people. They said that they use Lego because it's a, quote, world language. And also, interestingly, when pressed by the journalist, he admitted that
Well, it's also, I think it looks better in AI form, because like the problem with AI videos a lot of time is they still have a little bit of an uncanny valley sort of vibe, where they don't really like real people don't really look real. You know what I'm saying? And Legos, you don't have to worry about that. Like the Lego movie is the perfect like example of like something that could potentially like AI could potentially make, and it would be hard to find that much of a difference, to be honest. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe, sorry for all the people who made the Lego movie, if you're watching me right now. If that's, I'm not saying anything about the artistic creativity that you put into it. I'm saying more that because you happen to create something that is not like actually a human or whatever, it's harder to tell the difference when it comes to AI. So that's all I'm saying, people.
Iranian government is one of their clients, even though they had previously claimed that they are an independent group. Now, according to The New Yorker, Explosive Media began as a YouTube channel featuring political commentary on the Middle East via a young Iranian man. But most of these videos didn't gain any traction, only racking up a few hundred views. But this all changed in February when the group began posting these Lego-style videos about the war in Iran. And these have certainly gone viral. They're reposted not only by official government Iran accounts and pro-Iran accounts, but also social media users worldwide. And even though these videos aren't factually accurate, but you also have to remember, neither are the videos posted by Donald Trump and the White House. These aren't factually accurate either. Often AI videos which project US...
Blending one of my favorite audios with this shit, nah.
Military might praise Donald Trump and splice in...
Oh, okay, nah, I can't watch it. That's gonna ruin Wii soundtracks for me. Sorry, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
This AI slopaganda to push their side of the war to a
and to be clear,
audience.
Iran's slopaganda is like a million times better than whatever the fuck Hegseth is creating over there. They really need to get some, like, I don't know, get some new ideas or something like that. Like I said, I've been like humming that they lied to us, or to you all, like that chorus from that song. I've been humming that in my free time. So they need to like go like do the most American thing possible. Go acquire that company. Be like, we'll pay you more to do America Lego AI videos or whatever. But okay, yeah, that was pretty cool. Interesting info, I guess. I mean, not cool that they're getting censored or whatever, but good conversations, I think. Okay, this is related. This is something that I feel like I gotta talk about because it's so funny. This is our friends over at Breaking Point. So there was a picture that made its rounds on the internet, and a lot of people were saying I guess, that this is racist. This picture has a racist depiction of a Jew on it or something. I've seen the picture and I understand where they're coming from. I understand how it looks racist. But apparently it was real. It was like an actual photo of a real dude. So we're going to watch this video of Sagar and Emily, I think is her name. Yeah, Emily. The two conservatives that they have over at Breaking Points. We're gonna watch what they have to say about this. This is Breaking Points. Israel says real IDF soldier photo is hateful AI. Let's go.
Let's move on to a very funny story. Very interesting.
That's why
story.
I clicked it.
This one is about a Italian magazine. Didn't think I would be reading an Italian magazine, but here we are in 2026. Let's put this one up here on the screen. So this was an Italian magazine. It has a cover. It says L'abuso. I'm not going to try and read this, but I am going to give you a quick translation. The headline is Abuse, What is in the New Issue of L'Espresso, which is, again, is an Italian magazine, which had that cover, which shows
it does seem like something you would
soldier.
read.
Huh?
It does seem like something you would
Absolutely. I don't read the Italian magazine or the Italian press. So you have an Israeli soldier there with a phone in his hand, seemingly filming what looks like a Palestinian woman. And the subheadline there is, it is about...
Here, I'm going to bring it up a little bit closer so that people can get a real idea as to why people thought this was a racist depiction of a Jewish person. Let me see if I can get a close up here. Okay. So this is what got people thinking that this was a racist depiction of a Jew. And like, I get it, man. I get it. Like this, there's probably like, you know how Nazis really enjoy like purity, like they really like purity. Like it's their favorite thing, and particularly purity of blood is their favorite thing. And eventually, usually, and when you follow that ideology to its logical conclusion, like the most pure blood that you can get is when you start like having sex with your cousin or whatever, like because those are the only people you know for sure have like pure blood. Like how that's like the end state of Nazi ideology, and just white supremacy in general. But in this case, Jewish supremacy. I'm not going to say for sure that this dude, like that his parents like were cousins. Okay. I'm not going to say that I know that for sure. I'm just going to say that there is like definitely there's a non-0% chance if we're going to be serious. Like, I mean, come on. But anyway, and yes, I'm going to make fun of him because you see what the fuck he's doing. He's documenting how he can abuse and torture Palestinians for free, and nobody's going to do anything about it. Like, he can do it out in the open. He can have pictures taken of him. He can even get this whole news story about him. And he wants, this is another thing. This guy wants everybody to see this. He wants people to see what he's able to do to these Palestinian people. So we see it right now. And yeah, I'm going to make fun of his inbred looking ass. I'm sorry. I am. Anyway, let's continue.
In the West Bank. Okay, so that was the cover. Now, what ended up happening is that, let's put B8 up here on the screen, is that the Israeli ambassador to Italy, Jonathan Peled, put out a statement saying, "We strongly condemn the manipulative use of the recent cover of L'Espresso. The image distorts the complex reality with which Israel must coexist, promoting stereotypes and hatred. Responsible journalism must be balanced and fair. Hashtag."
What complex reality? What coexist, promoting stereotypes and hatred? That's just what the dude is doing. He's just like, you're saying that reality distorts reality. It's like, this is what you guys look like. Like, this is what, let me bring it back up again, because I need people to understand. This is what you look like. And even before this picture came out of this dude right here, this is what people were thinking you guys looked like anyway. Like, this is what the end state of your ideology is. Like, And this like horrifying picture of a dude, you know, documenting his own abuses of this poor Palestinian woman is like, yeah, this is how people already have seen you. Like, this is how people view you in their head. I assure you that I view most Israelis like this in my head. I'm sorry, I do, because there's a lot of people like this in Israel, and they wear it on their sleeve. They want to abuse Palestinians, and they want to commit atrocities against Palestinians. They want to rape Palestinians. They even had a riot. They had a straight up riot because the government was thinking about charging 5 people who gang raped a Palestinian. Okay? Like, they had a fucking riot to go protect and save the rapists. So yeah, a lot of people think this of you guys. This is what people think when they think of Israel and Israelis. So I'm just saying.
Media responsibility. Now, as
It's
people know, I'm
reality.
not a fan of community notes, but I guess I will.
I think
make
you
an
say of
exception.
media responsibility.
Sure. Right,
People,
media responsibility.
people don't screw that.
But of this community note, they say the image on L'Espresso's cover is a real photograph that was taken by an Italian photographer, Pietro Mastruzzo, as part of a West Bank settlers reportage. The same man appears in other photos by the Associated or the Agence France-Presse. So again, just to show you all that photo, let's put B9 up here on the screen. Here we have from the Middle East Eye. It says Israeli settlers uproot hundreds of trees belonging to Palestinian in West Bank. You can clearly see the same.
Yeah, definitely genetic superior right here. I've never seen someone more genetically superior than this guy right here. Yeah, totally superior for real.
Individual, which is there actually in the photograph. We also have video, which has been released now. This video was via I believe, an Italian journalist, and we're going to go ahead and play some of it here for you. Let's go ahead and take a listen. If you want to, you can see actually on the screen, there he is. This is presumably when the photograph was taken, him as well as several other soldiers in the IDF. And they are, I mean, there's some sort of confrontation happening. This Palestinian woman is there on the right. These Israeli soldiers are there on the left. He is filming the incident. He did make some sounds. It was like unclear exactly what he was saying. But if you want to go and take a listen to the full video.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably retarded, dude. I'm sorry. Like, he probably is. Like, he might have just been vocal stimming. I don't know what he was doing, but like, yeah.
For yourself, at one point you can hear him shouting the word "goy, goy, goy" at her, and so yeah, it's clearly not only a true incident, but it is illustrative, obviously, of what a lot of Western governments, including our own government, allegedly opposes, which is Israeli de facto settlement and control of the West Bank.
Evil people, and yes, I'm going to make fun of evil people. So
it is, yeah, it's been a fascinating controversy, isn't it?
Well, so interestingly, under this, the thread of the post from the ambassador that we put up, this is the Israeli ambassador to Italy, Barak Ravid responded. So former IDF reporter at Axios, he goes, the photo is not real, it's AI. The ambassador responds, hard to prove.
Okay.
So there you have a tacit admission that he actually has no idea whether or not this was responsible media, right? That's his hashtag, media responsibility.
Yeah.
He actually has no idea. I want to post with the hashtag ambassador responsibility, because how dare you say that this journalistic outlet was being irresponsible when you have absolutely no proof that this was somehow AI generated. In fact, the evidence is to the contrary, that this was from a video. So he's out there just...
Well, Israelis really don't like living in reality. Like, they like living in a fantasy world. So whenever reality kind of pops their little fantasy bubble, where they probably think they all look like Giga Chads when they all actually look like this. And so so when reality kind of bursts their bubble, I think they get real butthurt and they have to try to pretend like it's not real.
No, it's obvious.
Shooting off his mouth.
It's real, right? It's very obvious.
To the point where he can't even say it's not.
Yeah, he didn't even deny that it was real. Let's continue. There was this B10, please. This was Rabbi Popko. His biography says 11th generation rabbi, speaker, and writer, host of the Jewish World podcast. He says Italy's magazine Espresso Online is publishing anti-Semitic Der Stürmer was a Nazi publication. Worthy imagery that should clarify where they got this image from. The military vest worn here is no longer in use by the IDF. The wedding ring and bracelet are never worn by ultra-Orthodox men. The formation of the beard and kippah are out.
But okay, so the military vests, they give all of their settler freaks like old military equipment. Like that's where it all goes. Is like Ben Gavir literally goes out there and arms these fucking inbred assholes or whatever. So like that's nothing. That is like obviously it's no longer in use. They give all of their old shit to these settlers. Wedding ring and bracelet, I don't know if this guy's ultra orthodox or not. I assume that the hair has something to do with that. The formation of the beard and kippah are outlandish. I don't know anything about that sort of stuff, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that. And the very bizarre smile, I think that has to do with, like I said, the nature of his parents, probably. Showing teeth are unnatural, or / showing teeth are unnatural.
Outlandish, and of course the very bizarre smile and showing teeth are unnatural. So as they again point out, that photograph was taken by this Italian journalist in the West Bank, and the soldier in question has been photographed in other news outlets, which included the New York Times. A lot of this actually goes back to the olive tree controversy, which we covered here actually on the show with journalist Jasper Nathaniel, so you can go and check our coverage on that in the past, but did certainly want to highlight that. And I do think, considering our last story on the show, which we're going to talk about, which is AI, that one of the problems in our modern media age is that you have all of these people who can claim legitimate images are AI in order to
use the
cast
bathroom.
doubt.
I'll be right back.
Not everybody's going to watch this segment or, actually take a look at what happened. They're all going, some people may have initially seen that and have said, oh my God, of course it is AI or something like that. And yeah, that's all you have to claim nowadays, and vice versa. AI images, which people think are real, like after that pilot rescue mission, there was a completely AI generated image of the pilot being rescued that went viral to the point where like the governor of the state of Texas was like, so beautiful. I will never forget this. No, he didn't say this, but somebody else did. I will never forget this image the rest of my life. It's like, dude, is literally AI. Like it's
You
not,
should forget it.
Yeah, forget it. It's not even remotely real. So there we go. That's that controversy. Just wanted
It's a helpful propaganda tool to just be able to muddy the waters and be like, and this is exactly what we saw from the ambassador. Actually bookmark this because it'll come back in handy in the future, because this is a great example where he shoots from the hip and says, this is AI, it's irresponsible, and then one tweet down in the thread, he's like, well, it's hard to prove that it's not.
Right.
That's how it's gonna work in the future.
Yes, certainly is. Hey, if you like that video,
I'm back. I may have gotten a little too angry in that video, so I'm going to try to calm down a little bit, okay? I may have I may have gotten a little bit too angry at that dude, but I get really mad about West Bank stuff. West Bank stuff makes me really, really sad and upset. Because it just reminds me of other atrocities in the past, and the destruction of the native, of the indigenous person or whatever is always like, I don't know. It's just something that really makes me upset. So sorry if I got a little bit too lost in the sauce on that one, people. I'll try to, I'll try to tamper myself down. Let's go over to here. Because, okay, this will help. We got some breaking news. We got some good news here. So, those uninitiated, Eric Swalwell, I think he was running for, or what? He was running for governor of California, I think. And he was in Congress at the time. Or like he was in Congress, but we got another one. So he had some sexual abuse allegations, including rape allegations, tossed at him from I think multiple women. There was reporting. They came, as far as I know, anonymously to reporters and provided all of their corroborating evidence to them so that they could report on it accurately. And so he dropped out of the governor's race. And I was saying, I don't know if he's going to actually get kicked out of Congress. I wasn't expecting Democrats to actually bring forth a motion or whatever to expel him from Congress. So I was thinking he might end up staying there until at least the end of his term, which I assume would be November. But we got a little bit of good news. We got an early retirement from Representative Eric Swalwell. This is Representative Eric Swalwell to resign from Congress amid sexual misconduct allegations. ABC News. Let's see what's going on.
We have breaking news at this hour. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California has just announced his resignation from Congress following allegations of sexual assault and misconduct. Let's get straight to ABC's Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill with the latest. Jay, I know this news is just coming out, but what more do we know?
Stephanie, just breaking moments ago in a dramatic turn of events here. Congressman Eric Swalwell suspended his campaign for governor yesterday, but now he is resigning from Congress after a steady drumbeat of pressure from some of his fellow Democrats who had called on him to either resign or face an expulsion vote. And there was a brewing expulsion attempt here on Capitol Hill, a vote likely to be forced as early as this week for Swalwell to be expelled.
So they were going to force a vote. Hey, good for you, Democrats. I guess sometimes I flatten the difference between Republicans and Democrats sometimes. I know that I do that. And there are meaningful differences between Democrats and Republicans, and this is one of them. You are able to pressure a Democrat out of office for sexual misconduct claims. That is a major difference between Democrats and Republicans. Now, I'm sure that there are plenty of other Democrats who have engaged in this type of behavior as well. That there probably are people that other people even know that they have done it. I guess what I'm saying is, I'm not going to be clapping too hard for the Democrats here because they really, I think, are, in my opinion, mostly cynical. However, this is an occurrence where you get to see the actual difference between someone doing this in the Democrats and someone doing it as a part of the Republicans. So, yeah.
Then potentially some other members of Congress as well, Democrats and Republicans who have various issues in front of the Ethics Committee. Swalwell had faced accusations of sexual assault and sexual misconduct, including from former staffers of his. And I want to read to you a little bit of a statement that just came out moments ago. He says, quote,
I thought they were all former staffers of his. If I remembered correctly, he just seemed to only harass the people who worked for him.
I am deeply sorry to my family, staff, and constituents for mistakes in judgment I have made in my past. I will fight, he goes on to say, the serious false allegations made against me. However, I must take responsibility and ownership for the mistakes I did make. He said he's aware of ongoing efforts to potentially expel him from Congress here on Capitol Hill. He goes on to say, in his view, it's, quote, wrong to expel a member without what Swalwell says is due process. Only today did the House Ethics Committee say it would conduct an investigation into these accusations against Eric Swalwell. He goes on to say, quote, I will work with my staff in the coming days to ensure they are able, in my absence, to serve the needs of the good people of the 14th Congressional District. But he did say that he felt that this ongoing scandal had distracted from his duties up here on Capitol Hill. So Eric Swalwell resigning from his office, that seat will be empty.
Hell
There
yeah.
will, of course, ultimately
One less rapist in power. There's still a lot of them, I'm sure. There's still a lot of them. I am curious what he's going to do now, because the way I see it is there's two directions he can go. Number one, and probably easiest, is he just becomes a Republican. If he just becomes a Republican, he'll probably be able to get, he would have to distance himself from his previous previous Dem policies or whatever, but he probably, I think, could make the transition to being a Republican, and I think they would accept him with open arms. Or number two, he can go the Cuomo route and just try and hang out in the background, in the periphery for a year or two, and then try to come back at some point in the future, and get beaten by a Mamdani, hopefully, if that's the case. But Yeah, those are like the two routes that I see him potentially going down.
It'd be a special election to
Because God knows these people never go out and get a real fucking job. Like go out, like they never like stop and then like just go work a construction job or something, or like become a plumber, like open a plumbing business. Like they're like, you know what, I'm tired of being in the limelight. This has really, been taking a number on my family. I'm gonna go. I decided I'm resigning from public life in its entirety. No, they never do that. These people are cretins. They will stick around doing whatever they possibly can to. He'll probably start a podcast, if I had to guess, is what he's actually going to end up doing. Is the Eric Swalwell. I didn't do it, but I did make some mistakes. But I'm going to be very vague about it. Podcast. They can call it vague about it. They could call the podcast. Don't ask. Don't ask with Eric Swalwell. I think that seems good to me. What do we think about that branding, people? I don't know.
Resigning from his office, that seat will be empty. There will, of course, ultimately be a special election to fill that seat in California that the governor of California will call. But a stunning turn of events here, Stephanie, a breakneck pace of which this story has developed now again, resulting in Eric Swalwell resigning from Congress.
And Jay, as you know, Swalwell had been a fixture on the Hill for a really long time. But you also know that his own Democratic colleagues there on the Hill were calling for him to resign. What are some of the things that they had been saying the last couple of days?
And notable here, Stephanie, because Eric Swalwell was considered for a time a rising star in the Democratic Party. He was on the coveted position of the House Intelligence Committee up here on Capitol Hill for a time until Republicans stripped him of.
I think he sucked. If I remember correctly, I think he sucked. I could be wrong, but I thought he was like a corporate Dem. I can try and find that out, though.
Remember, he had an ill-fated presidential campaign at one point, and he was the leading candidate in this Democratic race for the Democratic nomination in the California gubernatorial race until these accusations surfaced. And then ultimately, of course, he stepped out of.
Okay. All I need to know is that he was raised by Republicans, so that should say something.
That race and has now resigned from Congress. And it's notable, Stephanie, that these Democratic lawmakers came out in the last few days and said that they believe that Eric Swalwell.
Also, his father was a cop, so that also says something.
Had no.
I think that like people whose like fathers are cop are probably. I don't know if they're statistically significantly more likely to rape somebody, but like they might be. Someone needs to do a study on it. I don't know. I know that cops the cops have a pretty bad track record when it comes to committing acts of sexual assault, like in a statistically significant kind of way. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of that rubs off on the kid.
Place in the United States House of Representatives. Democratic leaders like Hakeem Jeffries, for instance, the top Democrat in the House, or Nancy Pelosi, the former Democratic speaker, did come out in the last few days and say, in their view, Eric Swalwell should have suspended his gubernatorial campaign. They said that before he did, but they didn't go so far as to say that he should be booted from the House of Representatives or face an expulsion vote that has a really high threshold to clear. You need 2/3 of the House of Representatives to vote to expel anyone. So that's a hearty chunk of both Democrats and Republicans in that chamber. But Eric Swalwell tonight saying that he believes all of this has become a distraction, in his words, to his work, and so he believes it's the proper thing to do to resign. Stephanie.
Jay, would you say that this now punctuates challenges for Democrats in the state of California with the primary just around the corner?
It's unclear because that primary is still very much an open race. Eric Swalwell will be on the ballot. The deadline for him to be removed from the ballot has since passed, but there are other.
There's like 60 people on the ballot, if I remember. It's insane. It's a crazy primary.
Democrats in that race, like, for instance, former Congresswoman Katie Porter, who is seen as someone who could potentially take up that front runner.
And as far as I know, there's nobody good. I haven't heard anybody talk about a potential good option for this district. None of the people that I watch have even talked about it. So as far as I know, there's nobody, like, I don't know if there's like a Bernie-crat that is like an actual good politician to take this seat. I have no idea. to take the governorship. I have no idea.
Mantle now that Eric Swalwell has stepped aside. But all of that to say the titanic change in that race has been clear, right? Eric Swalwell, the frontrunner, has stepped aside. He's cleared the field for those other Democrats. And if you win the Democratic nomination in California, you have a fairly good, if not locked-in chance, of course, to become the next governor of that state. But the circumstances here on Capitol Hill were different. Eric Swalwell was facing growing calls from Democrats to resign. He was also facing a brewing expulsion vote, but he could have held on. He could have fought that process out. Think back to George Santos, who faced an expulsion vote, and there were multiple attempts to boot George Santos out of the House of Representatives until ultimately one was successful. Eric Swalwell could have held on here, but again, he's choosing tonight to step aside. Stephanie.
Yeah, I think that they probably, like, there's a difference between doing this to Republicans versus doing this to Democrats. Republicans are much more likely to close ranks and like protect and what's his face's case, the like scams that he did or whatever, but like also to protect, like they have like Jim Jordan, right? Like they protect pedophiles and stuff. Like if you're going to like close ranks and protect your pedophiles, then I think that you're going to close ranks and protect like from, someone being a little sexual assaulty or whatever. However, like Democrats are different in that like some of them have morals, like not all of them. I wouldn't even say most of them, but some of them have morals. So I think that you probably could get that extra, like, 15% or whatever, 16% of Democrats to go along with all the Republicans, if you had to. So like that's where, yeah. Like I said, this is one of those moments where it's like, okay, there is a difference between Democrats and Republicans. The reason that I get, the reason why I get a little bit like, I flatten that sometimes is because a lot of times, at least for the current crop of Democrats or the people who hold power, they are much more aligned with Republicans. And in fact, there's not much of a difference between them and if you go back to Republicans like from the Reagan era. Like they basically have the same ideology. A lot of the people in power do. Like I'm talking like the Schumers, the Jeffries, like the people at the top, like who have most of the power when it comes to our political leadership. They are basically indistinguishable from like a Reagan era Republican, right? And yes, right now they look much more reasonable compared to Republicans, but like I think that most Democrats, especially corporate Democrats, are more closely aligned with Republicans and even with MAGA than they are with my worldview. And so that's why I sometimes, flatten that difference. But there are times like this that make me go, okay, there is a difference. There is a difference, people. Not a big enough difference, in my opinion, but there is a difference. Well, okay, let's see. And also, this is one last thing. This is the difference in terms of like a reaction to a scandal, right? That is a different analysis than the difference between their actual like economic policy positions or something, though. But okay, let's go ahead and let's try something different this time. Okay, I've never heard of this channel. Inspiragio, sounds Italian. I like art and stuff. I'm not like a enthusiast or anything. I don't like, I like going to museums. I like looking at paintings. And so this one just caught my eye from my For You page, so I thought I'd throw it on the channel. I have no idea what it's going to be about. I also like scary stuff and like liminal stuff, and like I think that the thumbnail just kind of caught my eye, and that's why I wanted to watch it. So we're going to watch this video by a channel I've never heard of called "This Painting is Actually Terrifying." So we're going to watch this, and we're going to see if we can get a little spooked out by by colors on canvas. So let's go. Let's see what this is all about.
There is something about this.
Music's got me scared. And also, if this is like an AI video, AI voice, I don't know. I don't pre-watch my stuff, and I have never heard of this channel. So if it is, I'm sorry, people, but we're going to watch it anyway this time.
Painting that is deeply strange. The colors are vivid, the landscape is idyllic, and yet the scene is unsettling. A woman lies naked on a meadow of flowers, completely unaware that above her, rising over the mountain, a strange one-eyed creature seems to be watching her without her knowing. This figure...
See, this is like the thumbnail that caught my eye. I was like, it's such an interesting depiction of a Cyclops, and that it's all a little bit off, right? Like the eye is a little bit too low. The mouth, I'm like, I don't even know where it is. The ears, oh, I'm getting a phone call. I think it's spam though. I'm just not gonna answer this one. But yeah, I don't know. This is the thumbnail that caught my eye, so that's why I wanted to watch it. But we'll see what the rest of the painting has in store.
Is the largest in the painting. It is the first thing we see when we look at this work, and yet we have no idea who it is or what it is doing there. This painting is called The Cyclops, and it was created by the French artist Odilon Reydeau between 1898 and 1914. It is now held at the Kröller-Müller Museum in the Netherlands. Reydeau was one of the most important symbolist artists of his time. His influence on art history has been enormous, yet today he is not nearly as recognized as he deserves to be. His work is some of the strangest you will ever encounter. His paintings portray an inner world of dreams, monsters, and visions that obey no laws of nature.
Nice. See, that's what I love, man. I love a good, like, dreamy, psychedelic painting that just makes me feel like just a little bit, I don't know, a little bit tingly, a little bit spooky, like liminal sort of stuff. Like, I don't know, I love it. So this already is looking good to me. I like this this Odilon Reydeau guy, wherever he's from. It seems pretty cool. French.
But to understand why Reydeau painted this way, we need to know his story. Odilon Reydeau was born in Bordeaux in 1840. His is the story of a sickly child who spent most of his childhood alone on the family estate, watching the clouds and building his own imaginary world. He described himself as a sad child who sought the shade when others sought the sun. When he was 30, he was sent to fight in the Franco-Prussian War. When France lost, Reydeau returned to Paris with a head full of images he could not shake. From that point began a period of nearly...
I mean, I will say this. People going to war does create great art. Like, I mean, I don't want to put people through that level of suffering. I don't want a world where that level of suffering like is necessary or exists. But I will say that it does produce incredible art. Both the people who go and also the people who stay at home. Like, I'm also thinking, like, in terms of music, like you get like punk and all that sort of stuff from a lot of the resistance to things like the Vietnam War and whatnot. So, like, yeah, I don't know. It does create great art. The amount of suffering we subject our populations to does seem to create great art. So I'll give us that, I guess. This shitty ass world that we live in, I'll give it that.
20 years in which he worked almost exclusively in charcoal and lithography. The works he created during this time were completely dark, devoid of color, inhabited by spiders with human faces, floating eyes with bat wings, and severed heads that smiled. He called this period his noirs, or his blacks. But then something changed. Toward the end of the 19th century, Reydeau began introducing color into his work.
I really like the color choices that he uses here. Very pretty. Like, honestly, like it's just very, very captivating. Yeah, I don't know. The palette choices, the light pinks up here, this like cyan right in the middle, or whatever color it is. I'm not a color expert, but yeah, very, very, very pretty to go along with like the creepy imagery. Like, this one isn't that creepy, but yeah, I'm sure that we'll get into some more creepy ones later.
And what emerged from that shift was something completely unexpected. His monsters were still there, but now they were bathed in light, surrounded by flowers, and set within landscapes of striking beauty. And the Cyclops is perhaps the most recognized work from that period. Although at first glance the painting seems terrifying, showing a naked woman being watched by a monster, the scene Reydeau depicts actually comes directly from Greek mythology.
I was gonna say, I was assuming it would be like an Odyssey thing.
The story begins with Polyphemus, the most famous Cyclops of all antiquity, a one-eyed giant, son of the god Poseidon, known above all for his brutality and ferocity. In Homer's Odyssey, he is the monster who traps Odysseus and his men in a cave and begins devouring them one by one. However, there is another story about Polyphemus that is far less known, and it is the one Redo chose to paint.
Let's learn.
His love
Let's
story
learn,
with
everybody.
Galatea. Galatea was a sea nymph of extraordinary beauty, and Polyphemus, the man-eating monster, fell in love with her with a desperation that the ancient poets described as one of the most tragic forms of love, because Galatea did not love him. She loved Acis, a young Sicilian shepherd, and Polyphemus, unable to bear it, ended up crushing his rival with a boulder. If we look carefully at the composition,
I don't know much about the like sexual dynamics between Cyclops or whatever. But I have to assume that there would be a problem here, right? Am I wrong? I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, he's peering over a mountain here, and she's laying here on the grass. Like, I'm just saying, like, logistically, like, there has to be a problem here in terms of, like, you know, between the sheets or whatever. I'm just saying, I don't know.
the first
Maybe they
thing
could
we
make it
notice
work.
is how the space is divided into two completely distinct worlds. In the lower half, Galatea sleeps on a meadow of intensely colored flowers, blues, greens, yellows. Her naked body blends into the vegetation so softly that she and the landscape seem to be part of the same thing. In the upper half, emerging from behind the mountain ridge, there is a one-eyed monster. Polyphemus is enormous. His head occupies almost the entire upper half of the painting. But what draws our attention is not his size, it is his expression, because this Cyclops does not have the face of a monster. Some viewers even describe his expression as tender, though not everyone agrees. His single eye, disproportionate.
How would I describe his expression? I'm having a hard time understanding his mouth situation, but to me it looks like he's almost kind of like slightly smiling, like one of these, like almost like he's like, I would say like looking tenderly or fondly. I could probably see that. And it's just because maybe if the mouth was a little more defined, I could think of it differently. But it does look like he has a little bit of a smirk or something going on here.
Proportionately large is directed toward us. It is as if this creature has just noticed our presence and is now looking at us, knowing it has been caught watching the woman from a distance. What we do not know is why it watches her. Its intentions are a mystery. It could be observing her from afar to protect her, not wanting to frighten her with its appearance, or it could be waiting for the perfect moment to leap on her and devour her like one of its enemies. I would love to know what you think in the comments. Odilon Redo was not the first to paint this story. The myth of Polyphemus and Galatea had been depicted by some of the most important artists in history. Painters like Raphael, Poussin, and Gustave Moreau had all painted this same scene before him. But the key difference between Radon's version and all of those is that in those earlier works, Polyphemus appears exactly as mythology describes him, a violent and brutal presence looming over the landscape. And yet when we look at this painting, we see something completely different. Redo took one of the most terrifying monsters in Greek mythology and reduced him to a figure shyly peering out from behind a mountain. There is no violent gesture in his posture, no obvious threat in his expression. In fact, if we look closely enough, some viewers even claim to see a faint smile on his face.
That's what I said. Hey, I'm some viewer. Guys, I'm the viewer this time. I always say, welcome to the show, or like I always, in my intro, I say I do it for you, the viewer. And this time I'm the viewer.
The genius of this work is that where other artists chose to represent the brute force of the myth, Redo chose to represent its interior. And in doing so, he transformed one of the most famous monsters in history into an absolutely enigmatic figure. But the fact that he chose this creature is no coincidence either. Throughout his entire body of work, Redo used the eye.
I don't like that one. That one, the hairs, like the eyelash blending into the hair I'm not a fan of this one.
as one of his most recurring symbols.
2 out of 10.
In his noirs, he painted eyes floating alone in space, without a body.
I like this one. This one gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Yeah, this one also gets I like that one too. That gets a 7 out of 10. Actually, you know what? That also gets an 8 out of 10. This one, 5 out of 10. Okay, I'll stop rating them all. But
and without any context. He also painted eyes mounted on balloons.
I like this concept though. This concept of looking up at the sky and seeing 2 eyes peering back at you. It's kind of like have you ever seen that like YouTube Shorts thing, like the moon wakes up or whatever, like where one day you're just looking at the moon and it has like a face on it and it's like, you know, it starts falling towards the earth. I mean, it's like very Majora's Mask-esque or whatever, right? But yeah, it's like the idea of like just something so human or whatever being etched onto the cosmos, like, which is supposed to not necessarily be human, or like our understanding of it from a scientific perspective is that it's not like a human, like there's not really like humanity in that realm of, you know, like it just in space and stuff. I don't know. I like that concept.
Crossing the sky, eyes that became suns or planets, or even completely independent creatures that did not belong to any particular being. The museum that holds this painting notes that in Raiden's work, the eye is often an autonomous creature, a symbol of the human soul and of the mysterious inner world that each of us carries within. Also worth noting is that in the symbolist tradition, the eye represented knowledge and clairvoyance, but equally surveillance, a presence that observes without being seen. Odilon Redo himself always refused to give overly precise explanations of his work. His position was clear: an image should not be defined, it should be felt. As he himself said, his art consisted of putting the logic of the visible at the service of the invisible, and in the Cyclops, that enormous eye peering out from behind the mountain captures exactly that. We do not know with certainty what it represents. We do not know whether it is protecting the woman or stalking her, and that ambiguity is precisely the point, because Redo did not want us to understand this image. He wanted us to feel it, and to form our own interpretation of it. Thank you for watching the video.
Yeah, cool video. You know, I enjoyed the commentary, and really I just wanted, yeah, I liked this just guide through some of his photos or some of his art and stuff. And yeah, you know what? I like art stuff. So, and this is my channel, I can do what I want. I don't have to be politics all the time, people, just most of the time. And there's politics in the world of painting as well. Let me just look at a couple things. I want to pick an article now. This one could be funny, and this one could be serious. I don't know what people are thinking, funny or serious. Oh, this one's short. Maybe we can do both. Maybe we can do serious and funny. Okay, let's start with serious. Or, I mean, potentially serious. I make serious stuff funny all the time, people. I think I do, at least. So, you know, why not both? Okay, so we're going to start with this video, or not this video, this article by The Intercept. People know I love The Intercept. It's one of my favorite, you know, traditional, I guess, news sources, even though it is more independent than, I guess, but you know what I mean. It does, like, they do good reporting, like just traditional reporting. So let's go and read this article. We were talking a little bit about censorship earlier, about YouTube, you know, censoring the Iran Lego propaganda videos. So this, I think, kind of falls into that same realm. So we're going to see what this is all about. This is Facebook and Instagram tighten censorship rules for saying Antifa by Sam Biddle. So, yeah, let's go. Meta's new rules let it ban users or suppress comments that include the word Antifa alongside content level threat signals. What the fuck is that? Content level threat signals? Okay. We got a nice picture of the Zuck. He put on his lizard suit, and then he put on his regular suit on top of his skin suit over his lizard body to go hang out with the big beautiful boy himself. But okay. Facebook and Instagram parent company Meta changed its speech rules to add new restrictions around posts including the word Antifa, according to documents reviewed by The Intercept. I'm curious, like, I don't really understand why. Antifa is not like an organization or anything. I don't know what they could possibly see as like a problem with that. And the people who use the word Antifa the most are like Trump and like Hegseth and like I don't know, the freaks in the like the Republican Party tend to use the word Antifa a lot. But let's keep reading. This spring, Meta quietly reversed its community standards policy, an internal company document dictating what its billions of global users can and cannot say online. The latest tweaks can be found in a chapter on violence and incitement, where a subsection titled Other Violence spells out, among other rules, the company's bans on ads for assassins. I like that rule. That's a good rule to have. It's in the subsection where Meta last month published a revision to include new limitations for users who mention anti-fascism. Okay, let's see what that revision is. Policy documents reviewed by The Intercept show the company now treats any content that includes the word Antifa as a potential rules violation if that word appears along with what Meta deems a content level threat signal, meaning a statement that the company believes implies violence. Okay. Like, I don't, the people who post the word Antifa, I don't really, like, maybe some lefties use the word Antifa unironically or something. But in general, it is like Trump saying, like, let's deport all of Antifa or something, or let's attack Antifa. Like, would that get censored if he said that? Or if like Hegseth posted on Facebook, like, we're going to hunt down every Antifa member, does that count? Like, I'm just a little bit confused about this. In some cases, the content that Meta considers a threat signal is commonsensical. If, for instance, a user mentions bringing a weapon to an event, the company flags it as a threat signal. But in other cases, Meta's process for identifying threat signals is more vague. Under the new rules, Meta might trigger a threat signal when a user posts a visual depiction of a weapon, a reference to arson, theft, or vandalism, or military language if accompanied by the word Antifa. I don't understand why combine it with Antifa? If you're going to have a policy about this, why is the word Antifa even a part of this? Could you not just, like, if someone mentions all this stuff and mentions the word hamburger, like, does that does that trigger anything? Is it because they think Antifa is some sort of like terrorist organization or something? I really don't get it. I think I know there's a meme group called Antifa Ultras. Maybe they're trying to target them. Okay. If Antifa is mentioned in the context of references to historical or recent incidents of violence, a category so sprawling that it includes historic wars and battles, that post will also be penalized. Should Meta apply this rule as written, the company could, for instance, restrict posts comparing the anti-fascist nature of World War II to the contemporary Antifa movement. Yeah, I mean, that is true. If you talk about like the people who went to war in World War II, like the boomers and stuff, right? They were anti-fascist. Like, all of the boomers, even the ones who hate Antifa or whatever, they all were Antifa back then, and that they were out there fighting a war against fascists. So I guess we can't even talk about World War II at this point if Meta's going to go through with this. But okay. Potential penalties for violating community standards range from a full account ban to comments being hidden or suppressed. The policy change follows years of Meta and its chief executive Mark Zuckerberg's pivot of political convenience towards President Donald Trump and his base. Following Trump's second electoral victory, Meta quickly changed its speech rules to allow for anti-trans slurs and dehumanization of immigrants, of course. The Intercept, which is why I'm saying they're not going to use this to target, like, if the Trump administration or Trump administration official says, I want to go kill every Antifa member, like, or something, which is silly because there's no such thing as an Antifa member. But even so, like, it's not like this rule is going to be enforced against the people threatening violence against Antifa or whatever. It's only going to be used probably by people who like just use the word Antifa. I still don't really understand what this is going to accomplish, even from a state censorship perspective. Like, I don't quite get what the point of this is. But asked about the new restrictions on the word Antifa, Meta spokesperson Erica Sacken pointed to a March transparency report that noted that the company would remove QAnon and Antifa content when combined. Okay, so they're getting QAnon too, I guess. With content level threat signals. The report does not explain what those signals are. Meta did not respond when asked if the company had discussed its Antifa speech rules with the Trump administration. Probably. Meta largely outsources the enforcement of its community standards rules to low-paid contractors whose interpretation and application of the policies can vary. The company's automated algorithmic content moderation systems are also famously glitchy. This combination can result in erratic censorship, particularly when political ideology is classified as violent or terroristic. The new rules around saying Antifa on Facebook and Instagram comes amid efforts by the White House to crack down on left-wing political organizing under the guise of national security. Though Antifa is a contraction of the word anti-fascism and not an actual group, Trump last September signed an executive order designating the leaderless, decentralized movement as a domestic. It's not even a movement. It is just a word. It is a word. Like, you are going to war with a word. Or an ideology. You're going to war with an ideology of being against fascism. So even that leaderless, decentralized movement is a little bit like hyperbolic, but as a domestic terrorist organization. A subsequent executive memorandum in SPM 7 again singled out Antifa ideology as a cause of domestic terrorism and organized political violence. It's not. It just isn't. I don't know of a single Antifa like school shooting. I don't know of a single Antifa I don't know of a single Antifa act of violence, to be honest, like physical violence. They may have, like, people may have done property crimes under the banner of Antifa. That's perfectly plausible. But as far as I know, there has never been an actual act of violence associated even with the word Antifa. Like, so, I don't know. That seems, that seems really silly. And it's going to just be used to target anybody who opposes the state, like, eventually. And Republicans and right-wingers out there, that does not exclude you. They will come for you. If your material conditions get bad enough and you go outside and you're like, I'm going to protest this. This shit is hurting my bottom line. I don't like it. I'm tired of Trump. I want somebody else. If you, like, you know, if it happens to Antifa, the word Antifa, and anybody of vaguely left politics, it will happen to you as well. They will not, you know, they're not going to go easy on you just because you used to be aligned with the party or something, you know. But anyway, prior reporting by The Intercept has shown Meta historically hews closely to federal terrorism labels. Meta in 2020 announced it would tackle the leftist bogeyman under its movement and organizations tied to violence policy alongside QAnon, the right-wing mass delusion that helped foment the January 6th effort to overturn. Now, there's an actual instance of violence associated with a movement. And QAnon, I would say, is a good analogy because it is like a decentralized, I would say it's closer to an actual group, like a decentralized movement, as they talked about before. Antifa, I wouldn't even consider a movement. I just think it's like a word that a lot of people consider themselves. Like, but yeah. But it did actually lead to violence. But even then, I would say I don't think that they should be censored unless they're, like, you know, they're doing actual other community violations or whatever, like actively advocating for violence or something. Like obviously advocating for violence, then I would say sure. But it shouldn't be because they're QAnon. It should just be like, we don't like when people actively advocate for violence. But there you go. Those self-identified Antifa adherents have taken part in acts of property damage. That's what I said, is like, I'm sure that's happened. Analyses repeatedly show that left-wing violence in the United States is a relatively small and rare threat compared to right-wing extremist groups and militias. Yeah, we all know that already. It doesn't matter. Reality doesn't matter anymore. Facts don't matter anymore. They're just gonna go, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and we just all have to suffer through it. So but like I said before, material conditions are gonna worsen one day. So if all the free speech warriors who conveniently forget about free speech when it comes to leftists and socialists and communists who want to go out there and, I don't know, protest for Palestinians or whatever. If you don't protect those people's rights to protest, eventually you're going to be also not allowed to protest when your material conditions get so bad that you feel like, okay, it's time to actually put down the iPad and go outside or whatever. But okay. I was going to read this one, but my voice is already kind of shot. So I think I'll save it for another day. So I don't know if people are curious, maybe tomorrow I'll read this one, but this is Missouri news. So Missouri town fires half its city council over data center deal. I thought it sounded kind of funny that they would get rid of half of their city council over one thing, but and I mean, I get it, man. Data centers suck. But yeah, anyway, I think I'm just going to move on though to x.com. And hopefully my voice comes back a little bit if I'm not talking 24/7, but we'll see. Okay. I don't know who this guy is, so I don't really care what he got canceled for. Okay, this is Saikat Chakrabarti for Congress. San Francisco, no corporate or lobbyist money. Chief of staff to AOC. Technical director to Bernie Sanders. Founding engineer of Stripe. I don't know about that last one. But okay. Let's go ahead and see. In just a few months, we've closed the gap from 21 points to 5 points in the polls. We can end political corruption. We can control AI so it works for humanity, not the oligarchs. We can have Medicare for all and lower the cost of living. But to do any of that, we have to change the leadership and direction of the Democratic Party, and our campaign is the only one willing to speak that truth. San Franciscans agree, and that's why we're surging. Sign up to volunteer at right there, psycat.us/volunteer. This is our chance. So I don't know particularly that much about this guy. I haven't watched any interviews of him, but most of the stuff in his little description seemed cool. So let's see what he has to say.
We just got results from the first post-debate poll, and our campaign is surging. In just a couple months, we've closed the gap between ourselves and our opponent from 21 points to just 5 points. And we've got the highest favorability of anyone in the race. California has a top 2 election system, and in a general election head-to-head, we're tied. But I'm not planning to come in second. We have a chance to win this in the primary and completely shock the establishment. And our opponents know this. That's why they're sending out lies about me in attack mailers and coming after me for going on Hassan Piker's stream. They're panicking because they know if we win, we can finally break the corporate stranglehold in our politics so we can pass Medicare for all, ban congressional stock trading, and end the endless wars, including the genocide in Gaza. So if you're ready to completely change the direction and leadership of the Democratic Party, join the movement, go to shoycott.us and sign up to volunteer. We just got
I did it again, people. I did it again. I've been muted. Okay, we didn't go that far into it being muted, so I'll just go ahead and read this one again. This is where I was, but I'm not going to go back and relook at the other content. Now that the Babylon Bee, basically all I said was I didn't know that this guy went on Hassan. I'd have to watch the interview. He seems kind of cool. The stuff in his bio seemed good, but okay. Anyway, this is Glenn Greenwald. Now that the Babylon Bee is a full-time Israel propaganda outlet attacking anyone critical of their sacred foreign government, the Babylon BB has stepped in to do actually funny political and inventive satire. I was saying that I followed this one because they made me laugh last time. So let's see if this one makes me laugh. 16D chess. Trump will blockade Iran's blockade to unblock the strait, just like it was before he and BB bombed Iran. Yep, that one was okay. I've seen that would not have been good enough to get me a follow, but the last one that I looked at was funny enough to give a follow. So Ben Cohen, a special message from Ben to all Ben and Jerry's scoopers and shop owners. Free Ben and Jerry's. Let's see what they got to say.
Hell.
The thing that I know about Ben and Jerry's is that they actually do political activism as a part of their brand, which is cool, I think. Particularly, I think they have like left-wing political ideologies, which, you know, I'm always happy to see. It's very uncommon in corporate, like in our corporate, you know, capitalist world, to have any sort of like left-wing ideologies, you know, be prominent or whatever, which Ben and Jerry's is a pretty big name brand. So I know they were having some sort of like fight with their owners or like they're partial owners. There's another corporation that's a partial owner or something, and I think they're in a fight right now because Ben and Jerry's, like particularly because of this brand ideology, like their like advocation for political causes or something, if I remember correctly. So let's go and watch this video.
Hello, Ben & Jerry's scoopers and shop owners. It's Free Cone Day again, and I want to send you all my love and arm strength. Thank you for doing all the hard work to make this day a joyous community celebration. I've been working on the Free Ben & Jerry's campaign in order to preserve our activist, progressive social mission, the soul of Ben & Jerry's. So in order to encourage more people to get involved in the campaign, we've been calling it Free the Cone Day and asking supporters to show up, celebrate, get a free scoop, and let others know what's going on. But please know that even as I'm taking on Magnum and its moves to muzzle our business, my beef is with those corporate overlords. The struggle is whether Ben & Jerry's can continue as a values-led business doing right by our employees based right here in Vermont. So today is a day to shine a light on what the new owners want to do to our business, but also a time to show the love for Ben & Jerry's workers who produce, ship, and scoop our amazing ice cream. Especially today, when a whole lot of scooping is going on, to the delight of our customers who want to see Ben & Jerry's continue to reflect their values as a force for justice. So scoop on, me hearties, with my deep respect.
Okay. Yeah. So Ben & Jerry's, like I said, has always been an activist, like had activism, progressive activism as a part of their like corporate mission, essentially, right? And I don't know exactly how the company got bought or structured or in a way that they're being kind of told not to do that anymore. I think that's the case, though, is whatever this other corporation that owns it now is kind of trying to force their hand, is kind of my understanding. And this is where I try to, like, I want people to, like, think about the incentives of our society and our system that, like, to like, if you structure your business in this way, you even if your goal is idealistic, or even if you have a non evil, like your goal isn't just to make endless money. Like, one of your goals of your company is to help people or do things, or to advocate for causes that you believe in or whatever. Eventually, in this structure that we currently have, how we organize our economy, eventually that's going to end, because someone's going to come in and buy you or whatever, or acquire you, or you know, like, I don't know, be more evil than you and therefore succeed better or something when it comes to like money or brand or whatever, right? Like the system is basically built to weed out anybody who has and like destroy over time any goodwill that people actually have as a business owner or as a business runner or whatever. And so to the people of Ben and Jerry's, I would say that like you should have structured your business differently then. I don't know exactly how you structured it, but you should have had it as a co-op where there is no ownership. It is fully employee owned by the people, and the people then, you know, they get a say in the direction of the company. And then I think that you would have you wouldn't necessarily be in this predicament, because if the company wanted to move, if the people who worked at the company felt like they were doing good business, they had a good job, they were, you know, happy with their job, they wouldn't want to change anything, like moving away from their progressive activism, if that were the case, and you could just vote on it, and then it would be we would have a better system. So that would be my suggestion to you, Ben and Jerry's, is if you can, buy back your company, turn it into a co-op, and then run it that way. And I think that you would have better luck. I know that's a lot to ask, though. I can't watch Tom Morello anymore. I got copyright struck on my last live stream because of that. It pissed me off. I don't know if I'm allowed to. This is Hassan. I don't think he would put anything too inappropriate, but let me go just to make sure. Okay, why on earth? I think this is a fake video, but I have no clue why. Whoops. I have no clue why this got like the content warning on it or whatever. But I think I remember someone saying that this isn't like an actual video of John Fetterman, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is. I don't know. It is funny though. It is a funny video. What's this? The Left 2026. Hamas, Nazi tattoos, Israel and Iron Dome. Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, dude. We've already won. You're fighting with shadows at this point. Like, we're already out of there. We won the battle. The Democratic Party is getting remade in our image as we speak. So sorry, Fetterman. You're gonna have to cry harder, bitch. I hope I don't get I hope YouTube, I guess YouTube is only censoring the Iran propaganda, the actual outlet that was posting the original stuff. So I think I can still watch this. So let's see here. Real talk, you out here blowing for access, but he the original BJ Queen. Can pay back for the girls, you broke the wives, you broke the Muslims, you hate. Every victim screaming in the dark.
This feels like the IRGC has a guy who puts on a uniform every day and just watches you and Joe Rogan for 8 hours a day, and now he's been activated. He's like, write that shit down, write that shit down.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty funny though. What's this? 30 seconds?
Yeah, I don't think it works that way. For me, Benjamin is you're saying it'll help you go to sleep, but like I have a different solution to that. It's called cranking it. Cranking, jorking the peanuts, cranking the hog, you know, just beating your meat.
Look,
it just didn't work. It didn't work.
Look. It does work, okay? It does work. It does put you right to sleep. I would say also though, one thing that I've found worse that is not cranking it is eating like a snack or something and just watching, like, just staying up for a little bit, like not even trying to go to sleep for like 30 minutes, like watching a show or something. And then after that being like, okay, I'm going to start trying to go to sleep. That's one thing that also works for me. I also have melatonin gummies that works, and Benjamin also does work as well. So
trust.
There's lots of options out there, people.
There's a lot of that going on. It's just like simply didn't work. God, I'm supposed to be a serious political commentator. What the
Look at him, he's in his fucking button-up shirt. He's talking about cranking it to get to sleep. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I like that one. Sorry, that was pretty good. Okay, what's this? Timu James Corden. Emily CC. I don't know who this is. My road trip. This is Daniel O'Sullivan posting Timu James Corden. My road trip with Emily CC Streams, who's been streaming on Twitch 24/7 for more than 4 years. 24/7? Oh God. Is that what I have to do to make it, people? Oh, I can't. I'm sorry. But I guess we can watch this. I don't know any of the people here.
I failed my driver's test 3 times.
Oh, that's great to know.
Is that James Corden?
Sorry, there's gonna be a big backpack
this
there.
is fine.
Is that okay?
Do you have a cat as well?
Yeah.
Is that actually? That's not him, right?
Emily's viewers are watching live. They're leaving.
He's Irish. James Corden is British, I'm pretty sure. Right? Am I wrong about that?
Comments in chat.
They're saying be nice to CNN hitchhiker.
That's
yes.
not him.
And then someone said, "Who's this goofball?" So like it's a mixture of
Great.
people that are like either
Okay, I'm not gonna watch this, people. I'm sorry. This is too boring. This is boring ass content. You know, I think even I'm more entertaining than this one. What's this one? Sneeko gets punched after yelling, "You deserve to be publicly executed," in the direction of a dude on the street in NYC. Dude, Sneeko, you're like 5'6", dude. Like, you can't be doing that shit. You're like 5'6", like 140 pounds. Like, you gotta, right? Am I wrong? Sneeko's a tiny dude. He always looks tiny. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. I thought Sneeko was tiny. Maybe I'm confusing him with another person. The internet says that he's 6'1", so maybe it's just that he's a little skinny boy. But okay, well, Sneeko, I guess then never mind. I guess you can go for it. But you still gotta be prepared. This is New York City, baby. Like, you're gonna get, like, people in New York, they don't really give a fuck. Like, I've been there once, and my general vibe that I got was that people just don't give a fuck. They're not gonna take any of your bullshit. They're not gonna, like, you know, do the classic Midwest fight that I'm used to seeing, where 2 people yell at the other person oh, touch me, bro, just try it, like, just like that sort of stuff, where they're endlessly trying to get the other person to act first so that they can, like, claim self-defense or whatever, like, worried about, like, the legal repercussions. New York City, I don't think they give a shit. So anyway, let's watch this one.
And put your life force into a sock? Yeah, you deserve to be publicly executed, yes. What are we talking about?
Oh, out of nowhere.
What the?
Hey, bro.
What the fuck, bro? And put your life.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Sure. I'm assuming that guy didn't actually hear what he was talking about. I assume that he just, like, saw fucking Sneeko and decided to murk him. I don't know what his plan was. But yeah, I guess maybe he's taller than I thought. I must have been thinking of some other dude. But he's still pretty skinny, dude. He's a little skinny boy. A little Twinkie. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going, people. What do we got? Let's keep this shit rolling. Okay, I hate these things. How do I get this thing to go away? I'm gonna have to find a way to turn that off. I hate that, like, oh, these people posted. It's like, I don't give a shit. I don't want to see it right now. For anybody who's seen Office Space, this is a nice reference. Good reference, people. What do we got? Emma Vigeland. There isn't a politician on the left who has absorbed more right-wing psychosexual violent fixation than AOC, a survivor herself. The rapist in office pardoned the January 6th rioters who hunted her down. Just a reminder of the environment she operates in as a woman and a leftist. That's a good point. AOC is the, like, where a lot of the weirdest, you know, yeah, sexually repressed people turn their sexual violence to a lot. Because she is vaguely left. She is a woman of color. And obviously she's very attractive as well. And like, so it just like, it really makes people go like, I don't know, insane. Like, the shit that they say about her. Let's see what she has to say here though.
Like, I'm here and the bathroom door starts going like this. Like, the bathroom door's behind me, or rather in front of me, and I'm like this, and the door hinges right here.
Is this okay? Oh, this is from January 6th. Okay, I'm gonna move on. I was worried that it was gonna go into like sexual violence stuff. I'm like, I don't want to do that on my stream or listen to that on my stream. But okay, another good meme. They got drones over here now. McDonald's, I think, usually has 2 arches, but you know, this is like St. Louis. This is St. Louis McDonald's. We only got 1 arch over here. That would be a good branding move for maybe one of the McDonald's around St. Louis to be like, oh, we're just the 1 arch. I don't know. Could be cool. Could be cool. What else we got? Yeah, Randy Fine. I don't need to. Oh God, Lindsey Graham. But this is the Babylon BB, so it'll probably be good. On this Holocaust Remembrance Day, the lessons learned are unfortunately more relevant today than ever. I would agree. I would agree. They are more relevant today than ever because we are witnessing, you know, Israel commit a live Holocaust on the entire region. Every single brown person they can find within shooting distance, within distance of their, you know, their air force is, you know, they're trying to kill every single brown person they can possibly find. So I agree that this is, the lessons are more relevant today than ever. The best way to honor those who perished is to put teeth into the phrase never again. I agree. I agree with Lindsey Graham here. We should put some more teeth into the phrase never again. And militarily invade Israel and force them to stop all this bullshit. We need to invade, we need to sanction, and we need to invade Israel. Those are my policy positions. To force them into peace at the end of a fucking gun. That's what we need to do. I agree, Lindsey Graham. I agree with your assessment. May the victims of the Holocaust rest in eternal peace. You know what? I see no problems with this statement. Now, obviously, I'm interpreting them, I think, in the exact opposite way as what he's saying, because I think that what he's probably saying is that, you know, anti-Semitism bad, which I do agree with, but he's probably saying it from like being anti-Israel is bad. We need to stop people from being anti-Israel, and we need to allow Israel to commit genocide on behalf of the Jews across the entire region, is the way that I'm kind of interpreting that. But Lindsey Graham says, never again. 5 days after cheering on presidents, an entire civilization will die statement. That's, you know, Babylon BB, you need to step it up a little bit. This is just a statement. This is not satire. This is just a statement. If you're going to do satire, you're going to have to, you know, think about it a little bit more and like come up with something a little more clever. You might be earning an unfollow from me pretty soon if you don't step it up a little. Okay. What do we got? TMZ. We got TMZ. Okay, TMZ is on the job. They are in Capitol Hill. And they're doing some reporting, people. We love it. Let's see.
Senator Graham, how are you, man? From TMZ. Could I just ask you about the bubble wand, sir?
What?
Can I just ask you quickly about the bubble wand?
Oh, the bubble wand. Oh, did you guys see that picture? That picture of Lindsey Graham being sad at Disney World all by himself? Let me see if I can find it. I guess this one? No, that's not a good, this one. This is a good one. That's TMZ, man. TMZ, good for you. That's not a, Well, I don't know. We might not get a high res photo of it, to be honest. They might all be pretty low res. But anyway, this was the photo of Lindsey Graham being sad at Disney World all by himself because as far as I know, nobody went with him here. Okay. This was a trip that this dude, a grown ass, what, like 50-year-old, 55-year-old? How the fuck old is Lindsey Graham? I don't know. Too old to be doing this, but going to Disney World all by himself. Look, I would not judge an individual, if you're not a person who wants to be in a relationship and have a significant other or whatever, I would not criticize you if you wanted to just go spend the day at Disney World all by yourself, okay? In fact, I was one of those people, or not to Disney World. I went to Japan by myself, and I did a lot of things by myself in Japan granted, I was like, 23 or 24 or something, but still, I've vacationed by myself. I don't really see any problem with vacationing by yourself, unless you're a fucking demon like Lindsey Graham, in which case this is weird as shit. Number one, he's a conservative, so automatically, woo, woo, my get your kids away from this guy alarm is going off. Like, like, honestly, if you're a conservative, I'm going to assume that you have a weird, sexual fixation with kids until you prove me otherwise. Especially if you're going here all by yourself. But then, like, yeah, number two, he is like he's just a demon. He is a demon. He is a genocidal freak, a maniac, and we should never forget this photo of him. Clearly, TMZ has not forgotten. So I stand with TMZ. I am pro TMZ now. Yeah. Oh, this is a funny one. This is probably related to... sorry, that's too loud. This is probably related to, if anybody watched my video of the Trump harassing a DoorDash driver, where she came in and she was like, oh, yo, Trump, that 11,000 is going to help my husband's, we're going to be able to pay so much for my husband's cancer treatment or whatever. And then, yeah, this is him being like, oh, look at all the money for cancer treatments that we're taking out of the public funds for like Medicare and Medicaid, like because of the big, beautiful bill. Yeah. Great. Wow. He's just pocketing it. Okay. Well, that's 6 minutes. That's too much. I'm going to look for a funny one and then I'm going to get out of here, people. Okay. It's already 2 hours and 10 minutes into the stream. So is this one funny?
My name.
Okay. This one could be funny. Matt Lieb, I think, is a comedian. I think he's a funny guy. So, let's go ahead and watch this video. Let me see if I can I open this post in a new thing to get rid of that thing? Okay, cool.
My claim.
So we're going to watch this video, and I'm going to assume it's going to be funny because he said this is perfect. So from Carly Bone, I guess. So let's watch this.
My name is Parker Cibolette. My claim is 2 + 2 = 5.
Whoa. Okay. Debate? Is this a debate? I haven't seen an actual debate club like do like I have to assume this is what like debate club actually looks like. So okay, 2 + 2 is 5. I probably would not be able to debate that very effectively as, you know, a kind of math person myself. I might have a couple problems with that, but we'll see what happens.
You did miss the instruction. You did skip right past it.
I don't care. I'm eager.
Okay.
Parker, where are you from?
Oof. That's really gonna fuck me up right away. I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Parker, where's your family from?
My mom is from New York City, and my dad is from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Erie. Oh, I had a friend from Erie.
Where's your family from?
My mom's family are Russian Jews, so it's kind of hard to track after a certain point. My dad's family are Polish, British, and French, so it's very, very easy to track.
Okay, all the white people. This is a burgeoning melting pot of white people going on inside of this person's blood right now.
My dad's family are Polish, British, and French, so it's very, very easy to track.
My take is not that your math is wrong. It's that you thinking that your math is correct is racist.
That's very interesting.
You think that your European LA ass knows more about Arabic numbers.
Sonny, can I interrupt?
Dude, this is great. This is a great debate. I'm loving it. I am enthralled right now. If all of like Ben Shapiro's dorky ass debates were more like these two people, this is great. This is so much fun.
For a second.
Yes.
Where's your family from?
Canada.
And where are their family from?
France.
Okay. And
I.
Where's kind of stops at France?
It stops at France. And I stop.
Okay, yeah. So your argument is not, if you're going to be making an argument based on the race of your opponent, I think that this is backfiring already on her. I'm on 2 + 2 = 5 side right now. Okay, people.
Side with centuries of Arabic scholars. I may be French, but I am an ally to that community.
Sonny, Arab. So that's beautiful. Let's give it up for allyship. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are trying to unify here. We are trying to learn. Arabic is the language. Arab is the word for the people, or the kind of scholars you might be discussing.
Totally.
Yes.
And yet you are still disagreeing with their years of scholarship, centuries.
Well, I'm disagreeing with you getting something wrong regarding racism. That feels actually kind of racist to me. We have, I don't know if you've heard, but our mayor, Zoran Mamdani, got rid of racism last January.
Wow, it's gone.
So I don't know how I can be racist when he is our mayor.
Okay, so
this is oh my gosh, this is so funny. They're all of their arguments are based on who they are, what their identity is, what their parents' identity is. It's all standpoint epistemology or whatever. This is incredible.
I just think that there are a lot of white transgender women.
How did you know I was trans?
Girl. There are a lot of white transgender women who like to think that because they transition, they can do no harm to other marginalized communities. And I would argue that your thinking 2 + 2 = 5 is nothing but an extension of that.
Wow.
That's very interesting. You have yet to disprove to me that 2 + 2 = 5.
I'm not trying to disprove that 2 + 2 = 5. I'm trying to prove that you and your ancestors are rotted to your core.
I mean, also your ancestors too. And they're both their ancestors are from the same places. That was a really funny video. I enjoyed that a lot. That earns a like from me. This is perfect. This was perfect. I agree, Matt Lieb. I agree completely. Okay, awesome. Well, good stream, everybody. If you're watching, thank you for watching. If you're watching the VOD, love you too. And yeah, that's gonna be it from me for today. Should be here around the same time tomorrow, 4:30-esque. But yeah, this has been Technically Clay, and the stream is technically over. Bye-bye.